Let's try America's fastest and most prestigious train, the Acela Express. Welcome to the beautiful Philadelphia train station. From here, I'm going to grab the Acela Express over to New York City. The Acela Express serves the northeast megalopolis between Washington, D.C. in the south and Boston in the north, with Philadelphia and New York City as important stops in between. I arrived from Washington, D.C. to Philadelphia in first class on the Acela Express, and I'm now continuing the journey in business class. Those are the only two classes available on the Acela Express, and business class is lower than first class. The Acela Express is operated by Amtrak, the federally owned railway company of the United States. Amtrak stations do not allow independent boarding. Instead, you have to line up to even get to the track, which on the one hand is ridiculous, but on the other hand, you also see it in developed train nations like Spain. I really dislike it in both places. Because I arrived in first class, I have access to the lounge here in Philadelphia. The lounge has comfortable seating, some workstations, and clean bathrooms. There is a very limited offering of hot and cold drinks without alcohol and some prepackaged snacks. The lounge had Wi-Fi, but it kept dropping the connection. The lounge is geared toward business travelers, and unreliable Wi-Fi is not what they're looking for. One thing I liked was that they had recycling, unlike the lounge in Washington, D.C. The highlight of this lounge in Philadelphia was the friendly staff. In the D.C. lounge, the staff were more interested in chatting to each other than helping passengers. Here in Philly, the lady was very engaged and helpful. For example, she asked me if it was my first time here, and she told me how everything works. I said I'd go for a little walk to take some photos and video clips. She said that they do not have bag storage in the lounge, unlike DC, and she suggested that I could use the Amtrak baggage storage service downstairs. That would come with a fee though. This was great service. She was super proactive. And that came in handy because there was a delay on today's journey. Amtrak managed the communication about the delay pretty well. They sent emails with updates, and they also offered rebooking or refund at the first sign of a significant delay. In addition, they have a live train status webpage, which was very good. The Acela Express over to New York is ready to board. I'm going to board directly from the lounge today, taking the elevator down to the track. I paid for this trip myself so that you get a non-sponsored and authentic travel review. Welcome to my channel, Markus Travels. We'll talk more about the price and the value for money at the end of the video. When it was time to board, the lounge staff gathered everybody in front of the right elevator and sent us down to the platform. I'm in car number 3 today. The position of the car is clearly marked on the platform floor. This is nice, but it doesn't actually work. You can see here that I'm walking over the car number 2 sign as I enter car number 3. The Acela Express offers step-free boarding through all doors. The business class cabin is laid out in a 2+2 configuration. This detail is great design. The sign above my seat indicates not only the seat number, but also the car number, so you know you're in the right place. The seats themselves, though, they have seen better days. Welcome aboard the Acela Express in business class. That's the lower of the 2 classes available on the Acela Express. I made myself comfortable here in seat number 1, Foxtrot. On top of the seat, there's a little latch that has a magnetic clasp. Other than a satisfying fidget toy, I don't know what this is for. There are, for example, no headrest covers that maybe that clasp would hold. The armrest features a recline button and an audio entertainment system that I'm pretty sure was not working. The recline in this seat is pathetic. In this shot, the aisle seat is fully reclined. This is pointless. The armrests were perhaps movable when they were new, but now they only move a meaningless distance. My first impressions of the Acela Express in business class are pretty terrible. I'm always thinking about how to title my videos, and the thought did occur to me to call this the worst high-speed train I've ever tried. Let's see what title we end up with when the video is finally produced. We roll out of Philly more than an hour delayed. We are now on the most important passenger rail corridor in the US. It is served by these Acela Express trains with 10 departures per day. Other trains also serve this corridor, like the Northeast Regional, which makes more stops. I tested the Northeast Regional on this trip too. Hit the subscribe button to be notified when that video goes live. The legroom in this seat is pretty good. No complaints here. There is also a footrest that folds down like so, and then somehow also folds open. There is a large tray table in front of me. You have to lift it up to deploy it, and then it wobbles around. The condition of the train is not excellent. There is a curtain for the window, which clearly at one point was attached to the rail at the bottom. Above me I have reading lights, of which only one worked. For storage, there are airline-style bins above the seats. Not sure why they have doors to close them. The train does not shake enough to move your bags around, I think, but it is shaky enough for those bins to cause a huge rattle. Just listen to this. You will also hear this rattle in the bathroom in a moment. There is additional storage for large bags at the end of the car. Amtrak is working on getting new trains for this route, but this is the train product they are currently selling for hundreds of dollars, and it just does not deliver per that price point. Across the aisle, there is an accessible seat with space for a wheelchair and with a functional fold-out table. The Acela Express has free Wi-Fi for everyone. It's basic and slow, but works more or less. At my seat, I have a couple of standard US electrical outlets by my feet. No USB ports though. If you're getting value from the video, please hit the like button. Thanks for doing that. Now let's check out the lavatory. I'm gonna leave the sound unmuted just for a few seconds so you can hear the rattle. The first thing that you might notice is that the mirror is warped. I don't know how you achieve that on a train, but you see it clearly in the reflection. Though it is an old bathroom, everything in here does work. There's plenty of space too, as this is the accessible bathroom. Hand towels and soap are there, and there's also a coat hook. The surfaces, though, are ridiculously worn. In terms of service, there was no food or beverage service at my seat. I had just eaten on the previous first-class trip a couple of hours earlier, so I did not visit the cafe car here on the Acela Express. As we roll through first Newark, New Jersey, and then towards New York City, let's talk about the price and the value for money. This was a one-way trip from Philadelphia to New York in business class on the Acela Express. The scheduled duration was 1 hour 25 minutes. The price I paid was $60 US. On some level, I feel that's a fair price. When I look at some different departures a month out, it seems that $60 is the lowest price you'll ever pay on this connection. Obviously, large parts of the train are in terrible condition. Still, the seat was not half bad, and I'd rather take the train than drive any day of the week. Then there's the delay. The day after this trip, Amtrak proactively sent me an email with a coupon for $50 off another Acela Express trip. That's dope. That kind of service is far beyond what I expected. And the coupon is valid for a full year. I'm also working on my review of the Acela Express in first class. There, the conclusion will be pretty much the opposite of this one. Hit the subscribe button to be notified when that video goes live on my channel, Markus Travels. Welcome to New York City and the Moynihan train hall. I arrived here successfully on the tracks there behind me. And click or tap the screen right here for my favorite train trip in the US so far. This is the California Zephyr, which travels 3 days and 2 nights from Chicago through the Rocky Mountains all the way to California. So check out that video now. Thank you very much for watching Markus Travels, and I will see you in the next video.